A 1, 2, 3, 4.
Bright light city, gonna set my soul on fire. Got a whole lot of Viva.
Hey y'all, your favorite nerdy girl is back, Nerdygirlreviews, and we are reviewing Army of the Dead. Streaming now on Netflix. Stay tuned for my commentary. If you'd like to see my full review, you can catch me on YouTube. And if you'd like to see my other recaps, I'm available on sofritoforyoursoul.com. Stay tuned. Yes, y'all. Who has watched this zombie movie? And if you have watched it, again, be prepared. Everything that's going to be said here, spoilers, so if you haven't seen it, you already know. But if I do look familiar, yes, I am sporting some Chambers realness, zombie lights and everything. So let's get into this review. Now, before we actually get into the whole commentary for the film, I just wanted to make a nod to the fact that I love that there's a multi-ethnic cast. One, that we see Latinos, representation matters. For the introduction of our Latino character, Mikey Guzman, who's a YouTube influencer, played by Raúl Castillo. Again, I don't know if this was based on a director's choice or if this was suggestion by the actor, but the fact that our character is Mexican American, and I don't know if this was paying homage to Amores Perros, which I love. This is one of my favorite films for more than 10 years now, and it's synonymous with this particular song. So it's one of Gael Garcia Bena's phenomenal film. It's just a great song. Control Machete is the group, and the song is Si Señor. So if you already know, you already know. So if you haven't seen it, film is directed by Alejandro Gonzalez Inarritu. Sorry if I'm butchering the last name, but nonetheless, this is one of my classics. I believe he's the same director for Birdman, or one of the directors for Birdman, but don't quote me. Alright, so let's get into this commentary. Now, let me just start by saying I'm not, just like I wasn't necessarily a Marvel fan, and I can appreciate a good story. That's why I became a fan of WandaVision recently, but and even Justice League, so I'm not familiar with all of Zack's work, but I must say thus far I've been impressed. I've enjoyed his films, and this also did not disappoint. For me, I need story. I can't necessarily just jump on a zombie movie just for the blood and guts and the killings of everything. I need a story. I need to feel invested, and I think that's what Snyder does brilliantly here, is that he is able to develop character development so well, and the film in itself, the way it's shot, is just it's a beautiful landscape. It's honestly like photography put to motion. It's just, and the instances of focus is what is interesting here, because there's a number of brilliant directors, but I think his signature is definitely that he pulls the focus into the face, which I appreciate. So you see how actors evoke emotion. Dave Bautista is our main protagonist, and he is like the head of this team that he puts together. And again, going from a former wrestler to now actor, I didn't know of his acting ability, and honestly, he took me by surprise. I'm like, this man has chops. Like, there were moments that were sincere and felt genuine when he's breaking down with his daughter, or played by Elle Purnell, in the film playing Kate, and you genuinely feel like there is a true father and daughter moments, or there are moments in this film where you feel for both characters. So basically, the way we are led into this film is there's one particular so it's a caravan of a number of trucks put together, and I believe they're called the Four Horsemen, which is a great indication for Greek mythology here. I believe it's documented that the four horsemen are the introduction of the apocalypse. So even though this team of soldiers are transporting this, ambiguous caravan that they're not supposed to know all the information to, and I believe it's coming from Area 51. Area 51, I believe, in a number of films has always been the one particular conspiracy theory that alien activity exists. And even in the very beginning of the sequence, you see these two small cylinder saucers that, as the caravan moves into the road, zaps through. So you already know something's up. And because we're talking about Las Vegas, a happy couple just got married, and they wanted to have a little frisky time on the road, and because the driver wasn't paying attention, collides with the caravan, and all hell breaks loose. And then we're introduced into what we suspect is a zombie meets alien kind of specimen. And we don't know the whole backstory to him, other than the fact that he could have been a soldier that was infected. He has dog tags, he has a buzz cut. He moves really quickly, and then before you know it, the whole entire area is taken over by his bites. People either die or they come along with him. And this is how the movie starts, because there's this spread just by these bite marks, this spread of a virus, of a zombie apocalyptic virus. And he just so happens to be close to Las Vegas, and then he makes that his territory. People are literally going off. There's a number of carnage, and then he stops in front of this particular statue of Zeus, where he self-proclaims himself as Zeus. So, and here's the difference with him as well, with Zack's interpretation of zombie movies. And again, I'm not familiar with his work. I believe after this, I do want to check Dawn of the Dead, which I believe released in 2004. And but I want to give him credit in the sense that he thinks outside of the box. It's not the traditional like gore and guts. It's a story. And so the fact that this zombie is alpha in the sense that he thinks. He's not just eating brains and sloshing around and stuff. He actually can anticipate, can organize, is essentially the king of this kingdom that he has created. And he also is able to have his queen. He appointed a woman to be his queen, to share his kingdom of zombies. And so we can see that he and his queen, hold this community to some kind of obligation to them. They decide who is going to be an alpha and who's just going to be what they call a shambler. A shambler is just, your typical, will kill, will spread the virus, but it doesn't go past that. They can't think for themselves. And so the one thing I will say too, another note to take away is that that's why we don't necessarily understand the concept of zombie here, and maybe there's an influence of alien in them, because of the simple fact that there's hair growth and there's a possibility of reproduction, because their queen, before they kill her off, a little after they kill her off, we find out that she was with child, and the child, once ripped out of her orifice, you see that the little fetus had instances of blue. And again, that's another mark of this alien activity. You know, it's not just simply blood that squirts out of them. It's this like blue goo that's the indication here that there could be some kind of alien activity, and maybe that's what also provides this prolonged life, you know. Also, if you notice too, when there are instances of feeding, there are a few of the zombies in the background, and I don't know if now everybody has taken notice of that, but some of them have these blue eyes. But according to Snyder, in a number of interviews where he's been asked about that, he admits that the government trying to infiltrate what is happening in this crowd of zombies and how they operate, they sent some zombie-like cyborgs. So when some of them are destroyed, you can see that there are instances of like some kind of robotic metallic face under their flesh and the blue eyes. So again, so now moving into the heist portion. We see our grouping that decides to like, yeah, you know, and I thought it was funny because not everybody was going to get the same cut. Our other Latino character is played, our Latina character is Maria, played by Maria Cruz, by Ana de la Reguera. Which I thought she did a great job too. She plays, you know, not only Batista's Scott Ward's comrade, but also love interest. They had dated during the whole spread of this virus, and he was going already through his own personal loss. He had to essentially kill his wife because she got infected, and so he was traumatized. And unfortunately, our character Scott runs away from everything. So, you know, he also ran away from this relationship. We also have Amari Hardwick, if you know him from Ghost, stars his, you know, series of Ghost. He plays Vanderoe. He has this wielding, power saw to kill zombies. But he's a philosophy major, which I thought that was great, brilliant. Again, breaking out of the box of the expected. And I gotta say too, so we have, you know, the main reason why they all come together. Tanaka is a former casino owner, and he is able to convince them to go get some money for him, and that was valuable. But in reality, that's not what he wanted. He wanted access to that zombie blood, and he knew if he got enough people who were money hungry that they would all rally and get him what he needed. He sends in Martin, who's the head of his security, played by Garrett Dillahart. And he's the typical asshole. You know, we all know there's always one tossed into these films. And so he's supposedly there to, like, just, you know, keep them all together and show them the ropes into the casino and kind of semi-help them out because he has a security card. But in reality, that's not the case. He sells them out. He sells out Chambers. And Chambers, even though she's with Guzman, she's the homie, unfortunately she's our first victim. And for somebody who's never killed a zombie, I gotta give her credit. Homegirl held her own. And she has no lines, but she's memorable in the sense that she was resilient. And that's what I give credit to Zack. And I think he has a history, a pattern of all these films, that women aren't these damsels in distress. They are women that can hold their own. They can hold a Glock and can let it be known, I don't need you to rescue me. I can do fine, well on my own. And homegirl holds it together until nearly the end. It's just that she's overtaken by a number of them. And I know a lot of people are like, well, why did they just let her die? Because the movie would die there. It doesn't make sense to like step in. Plus, you don't know how many of them were, and it would have just totally overtaken the entire project, so they weren't going to be able to even get to the vault. Hello? So it makes sense that she self-sacrifices herself, unfortunately, and Guzman has to pop a Glock in her gas tank, and homegirl dies there. But I want to say she was very memorable. I mean, from what I gather online, she is a stunt woman, professional stunt woman. So kudos to her. She kicked ass in that particular scenes. She stood out. And if the bandana, again, the bandana is memorable because it's Zack, I believe it's Zack's way of paying homage to the 1986 film of Alien, with the badass of that time, which was Vasquez. You know, she also killed a bunch of alien creatures in that film, and she held her own. So again, always paying homage to women, letting it be known that women are not weak. We're not weak. So there's that. So Martin, being the a-hole he is, thinking that he got away with murder, he's able to kill the Alpha Queen, saws her head off, and in that instance I got a lot of, like, you know, Exorcist vibes, the way that she was kind of like on the ground and nearly screaming for her life, but he's able to saw her head off in the most grotesque scene. But he doesn't get away with it because Lily, who is our coyote in the film, she knew he was up to no good as well, so she pulls a bait and switch. He thinks he has the in the duffel bag the head of the Alpha Queen that is going to guarantee him buku dollars, and in reality it was just a regular machine that counts cash. And he is messed up. He is completely assed out because now not only did you show your true colors, now everybody knows that you're an asshole. But he's then met up with our gorgeous tiger, our Valentine tiger that's half zombie, half tiger. Which, in the rumor mill, I hear that Carol Baskin, of all people, remember her from Tiger King? She was asked to be a consultant to kind of give her input as how a tiger would actually walk and behave. Even though I believe the CGI version they used an actor to kind of do those movements, but nonetheless that she was able to provide that extra additional information. So he dies in the most gnarliest of ways. It's like, damn, he was like a rag toy. And it gave me Jurassic Park. Like, did anybody else think of Jurassic Park the way that asshole character also dies on the toilet, and then T-Rex is taking him in the teeth and just uses him like a little rag doll? Again, these are great hints of all these other movies that I believe may have influenced Zack's career. So again, always pay homage to the classics. I also want to make a quick reference to our Dieter character, who is our German character who breaks into the vault. And tell me he did not remind you of Anthony Michael Hall from the 1980s with his little cute headphones. Like, who uses your headphones anymore like that? Everybody has their damn pods and stuff. So there was something very dorky and geeky and very reminiscent of John Hughes films, which I adored. I appreciate that, if that was done intentionally or not. But I got some serious Michael Anthony Hall instances from freaking 16 Candles and Weird Science and all that. Unfortunately, he does not survive, and our only living character that does survive the apocalypse and the nuclear newt of bombing that because they think that the government is gonna find a solution by just simply nuking all of the zombies in some very apocalyptic bombing kind of way. Our only survivor is Amari, and he's able to survive, and we kind of wonder why. And also Kate survives after the crash. They go through a whole number of scenarios trying to save her friend Gita, who had thought that it was her best option to see if she can at least get some money to get out of that camp with her kids. But we don't know if she survives. So again, I don't know if that bleeding into a sequel, will we have that answer ever answered. And so Omari survives, has a good amount of money, is able to buy a private jet, and then discovers that he got bit in the whole process. So this may lead to a sequel as to what happens. Is he the next Alpha? We already know there's a prequel in the works with our Dieter character and his backstory. So I think it lends itself for a number of possibilities here. I recommend this film. It's honestly great. It's a great popcorn thriller, zombie movie, if you're into that kind of genre. I was never bored. I never even looked at the time. I didn't think it needed to be short. I think it was perfect timing. If you can sit through 4 hours of Justice League, you can sit through this. Okay, so I recommend it. I give it 2 thumbs up. I think you should just definitely watch it either in movie theaters, support our movie theaters, or screen it on Netflix today. So stay tuned. I'll be back with more reviews for Netflix films and some shows that I've caught on Stars as well. And again, don't forget to comment and like the video if you genuinely like my commentary, and hit that notification button if you'd like to see my next upload. So stay tuned for the next review. Oh, and the zombies. Yes. R.I.P. to the lead singer for the Zombies. This song was quintessential 1990s, and again, this song was everything. So, rest in peace, girl. The Cranberries, Zombies.